guys, I hope you're doing well. Today is Friday. I don't know when you're going to watch this, but a happy Friday. I'm super excited. I need to act as if I'm not, but I'm totally excited. Today I have just Ivy. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Ivy, it's been a long time coming, and so I'm happy that we are finally doing this. So today we're going to talk about just career journeys, and especially in marketing. When I think about Ivy, I can't put you in one particular box. You are a mix of many different things. We see, legally speaking,
Money Mondays.
Then we have over 25.
Yeah.
And then there's also the work you do as far as digital marketing is concerned. Like working with brands. Nowadays, when I see Samsung, I just see Ivy.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, so you are many things in one. I don't even think I can put, there's one title that we can say Ivy is this. It's just a mix of many amazing things that you do. So I don't know, where did it all start? Let's start from campus. What did you do in campus? Where did you go? And what made you choose the degree that you did?
Okay, well, thank you. Great introduction. Thanks for having me, Joanne. Where did I start? Campus, United States International University of Africa, otherwise known as USIU. Honestly, what led me to... my degree is actually in journalism.
Oh!
Actually, my minor is in marketing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
And with a focus on... Is that what they call it? Focus? I can't remember. I don't know what they call it. With a focus on public relations.
All right.
Why did I choose journalism? My mom told me I have a voice for journalism, but my imposter syndrome led me to pick PR because I didn't think I'd make it in broadcast media. I was like, my mom, she just loves me so.
Yeah.
So I did journalism, public relations, and a minor in marketing. Why did I choose marketing? I think honestly, peer pressure is what my people were doing, the ones who were doing international business. I didn't really actually think it through that much, but I'm glad that I did. So yeah.
Wow.
I don't have an amazing story of I knew exactly what it is I wanted to do. No, that's how it came to be.
All right, and so you're done with campus.
Yeah.
Then now you enter the job market. What was that like?
Yeah, I got into the job market while in campus.
Okay.
And I don't know if that was intentional or maybe luck. My dad has always really pushed me very, very hard. I think he saw something in me that probably I didn't see in myself, so he pushed me hard. So I started working even for my mom at her place of work. I used to do her admin work. I was basically her receptionist. And then I started working at a place called GTV while I was in third year of university. I started working at a place called GTV. I don't know if you guys remember GTV. It came, a lot of loud noise, took a lot of programs from DSTV, including the entire sports channels.
Okay.
So I was a
Go
telemarketer.
TV?
No. Go TV came even after. It was called GTV. And they had amazing adverts. And I think maybe that's why I wanted to do marketing, because I used to remember looking at billboards and TV ads and wondering who's behind this beautiful stuff. Anyway, so I started working while in campus. So I would go to work, let's say 2-3 days a week maximum, then go back to school. My schoolwork suffered a little bit. Maybe a story for another day, but yeah, officially now after campus is where I started to hone my skills in marketing, because that's why I started working for a marketing agency. Right now they're called Yellow Moon. I'll actually shout them out because I know they're doing a lot of work for EABL right now. So Yellow Moon is where I actually started getting a feel of understanding what marketing truly means. And it was a bit of a surprise because you think that marketing is all glitz, glamour, and it was hard. It was hard, and it was nothing like what you see in movies and stuff like that. But yeah, so I've worked for a long time. I've been working since I was 18 years old, I think.
Yeah. So now you are in marketing.
Yeah.
How did you
digital marketing, I guess.
Digital marketing.
Yeah.
Tell us how you transitioned out from now, being full-time employed to now, doing your own thing, because you are doing amazing things. You are so, passionate and driven. I mean, like your content like stands out, walk us through that, that transition.
Okay. So over 25 is what basically brought me to the limelight. and I call it my anchor. So I'm very grateful that I had that table to sit on. So while shooting Over 25, for people who don't know, Over 25 is a YouTube channel. I'm a quarter of a YouTube channel called Over 25 with three of my friends where we discuss matters women over the age of 25. So while on that channel, brands started, of course, approaching us for jobs, and some brands started approaching us as individuals, because I guess as we progressed and as we grew, our persona started to stand out, and people could tell this one is this one is this, this one is this. So while I was still in employment, I started doing digital content creation as a side hustle.
When you're doing marketing.
Well, I was doing marketing, but this was while I was now in strategy. You see, marketing, you have to go up the ranks slightly. So I started from the bottom of executive level, and then I grew up to head of strategy and something that you call a client service director at an experiential and digital marketing agency.
And as you're saying, it's hard. It's not what guys normally see out here.
No. A lot of reporting, a lot of numbers. You have to project revenue for your company, leadership in terms of leading a team to fruition of projects. But at least I enjoyed it. Okay. And you have to work hard anyway at whatever you do, whether you enjoy it or not. So while I was leading strategy at this marketing agency, COVID hit. March 15th, 2020 is when we were told, go home, we'll be working from home from now on. And I'll never forget, because I've told this story so many times. I get to the house, ready to work, open up my laptop, check my emails, and the first email says salary cut. And the body of the email is, you'll be working with half your salary from now on. And I was taken aback. I was like, we've just been told to come home today. And now we're working from home. And because, at the end of the day, a lot of the clients were very unsure about the environment with COVID. So they cut back on their spending. When you are at an office, when you work for an employer, if clients are not spending on you, the employer has to make some hard decisions. And those were some of the hard decisions that were made. Luckily for me at that time, I remember I still had my side hustle of digital content creation. And I remember...
And were you actually getting paid?
Yeah, I was to do my brands. I remember at that time I had like a few brands here and there. Not very many, but I was getting paid. I remember being in the house, working from home, and seeing my nanny really struggle. Really struggle to keep up with the children, to keep up with the laundry, especially the laundry. The laundry would take up her entire morning bending over and washing those clothes. And me being home, she would assume that I'm able to help, but I would say I was also working 2 jobs. So I thought, if I can ease this woman's work and get her maybe a washing machine, things might be easier. So I write a proposal, and before sending the proposal, I reach out to some companies on Instagram, on email, I make some phone calls. And out of around 5 companies, only Samsung got back to me. And Samsung got back to me with a very interesting proposal. They said, we've never worked with with an influencer before on consumer electronics. Now, consumer electronics are the ones who do the TVs, washing machines, and fridges. Because I think for mobile phone, you've seen that they've worked with celebrities before. So they said, this is new to us, and we've never done this, so we cannot even take it to leadership and say this is something that we must do, because we don't have any results to work on. They said, we'll give you the washing machine at half price, so you have to pay the other half. And I told them, it's fine. I'll give cash of half, and then the other half I'll pay in content. So Samsung gave me my first big break in terms of working with a very big brand. And I'll never forget the first video I did. I think the client called me, they were like, what have you just done? It was a very fun video, and it was amazing. So when I got that job, I realized, after Samsung, of course, I started getting more. There's a thing about working with big brands that helps market you to other brands. So I started getting a few more other jobs. And I realized that every piece of work I was getting, I was given. So Samsung I asked, but after that I was being given work. So I was like, what if I'm aggressive enough to ask? What it's going to do is it's going to save me a lot of time, because I was still doing my 9 to 5 and I would sleep at midnight, but I'm getting half price. And I realized on this other side I could get probably a bit more, and I was enjoying it so much more. So on October 23rd, 2020, I handed in my resignation and I decided to bank on myself.
How was that?
Crazy scary. The thing is, working where I was working, by the way, I was happy. I was enjoying my job, and my boss, current mentor, we still talk to date, was amazing. I'll never forget, at the exit interview, she said, when you're ready, if you even need me to invest in something that you're doing, call me. But what was scary is, when you're so used to employment, there's an anchor you have where, Joanne, I mean, even if you go to the office on a Friday, I mean, we all know guys in employment, sometimes on a Friday, from noon there's no work you do.
There's nothing.
But you'll still be paid for that Friday. On this other side, if you're not working, you're definitely not eating.
You are working every day.
Yeah. Every day, every hour.
You eat what you kill.
Thank you. Thank you. So it was scary because I was just like, will I be able to do this? I have never done something like this before. And people tell you before you quit your job, you must have a transition plan.
Right.
You see, I didn't realize at the time that I was thrust into my transition plan by COVID, because I was already on half a salary. So I was already surviving with less than it is that I was making. But I was just scared. I had 2 children. My partner, the father of my children at that time, lost his job entirely to COVID. So I was literally the breadwinner. So whatever expenses were being taken up in the home, I was doing everything. So I cried. That first week when I quit, I cried. I cried for the father of my children. I cried for my friend, Shiki. I was crying every day until I realized, okay, we're done crying. Now we move. Now we move. Yeah.
Wow. So I think I'm still absorbing. Wow. Okay. So now you are 100% digital marketing. I actually would never have guessed that you approached Samsung. Like, wow. Okay. So what have been some of the highs and lows as a digital marketing creator?
Yeah. Oof. So many highs.
Let's start with the highs.
Okay, let's start with the good news. So many highs. Obviously, securing a contract for 1.5 years with Samsung Consumer Electronics is one of my biggest highs.
Yeah, and that was your blood, sweat, and tears.
I'm telling you. And I'm still sweating and bleeding for them. I'm not bleeding. It's okay. It's good. So that was definitely a high. I got first runner-up best influencer at the Digital Media Awards last year. So that was beautiful. This year, actually, I was nominated for Best Digital Content Creator for Women in Film Awards. I didn't get that one. Congratulations, Lynn. Lynn is a very good acquaintance of mine. So congratulations, she won that. So those nominations in terms of people recognizing the work that you do is a high for me. My mental shift is a high because, and I don't mean this badly because I don't want to negate employment and what it did for me, but I used to feel, after I came out of employment, I realized I was probably a little bit enslaved mentally by thinking that I was making good money. Sometimes, just to be honest and to encourage people who want to get into this business, sometimes I can work for probably 2 hours and make what it is that I used to make in a month. So depending on how you negotiate your fees and that type of thing, you can make very good money out here. And then finally, another very big high is the expansion of my networks. Look where I am today with Joanne, the career coach, the people I've met, the rooms I've sat in, the people I've interviewed. That expansion of my network has actually, I think, been my greatest high. And just hearing you speak, you have a lot of grit, you have a lot of tenacity, you're not afraid of, you think, you come up with solutions to problems. You are basically, you're not afraid to use your brain. And I think that those are the things that have made you, successful, because anyone who watches your content, there's so much creativity. Someone can see you've poured your whole self into it. And there's so much that you're doing. As you mentioned, there's Legally Speaking, there's Money Mondays, there's over 25 channel. There's now also working with brands. How do you divide yourself? How are you able to thrive in all these areas, and which of them has your what can I say? What's the one that is now the anchor? Because you see, they're different things, and you're actually thriving in all. We're just discussing and we're saying I have to go to Money Mondays every Monday, and it's me and a million other people. I think it's really it's really grown and it's really thrived. The same thing for Over 25 channel. The same thing with you working with brands. So how are you able to? Wow. Good question. I think to answer that, I have to go back to one of the first things you said in terms of using my brain. So I don't like, as you said, I'm more than a digital content creator. So I like calling myself a thinkfluencer for 2 reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thinkfluencer for 2 reasons. I try and put as much thought and heart into what it is that I do. So I want you to look at something, a picture that I've taken or a caption that I've written or a video that I've put out and think, okay, she really thought this through.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I want my content to make you think. I want you to introspect and sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what am I doing with my life? Is this good? Is this bad? Blah, blah, blah. So because of that, when I was trying to figure out the niche that I would carve, it did not suddenly come to me. When I was trying to figure out the niche that I would carve, sitting in the office while in employment, I would ask colleagues and even friends, what are you guys doing with your money? So here's the thing. So Instagram is my favorite digital content creation space. And I would follow, let's say I'd follow Joan, the career coach, in January 2020 through to January 2021. And everything is good. She's relatable. She's reading about her. Things are fine. Then in January 2021, she's taking me on a house tour. But she's completely left out how she was able to afford to take me on a house tour. So when I was asking guys, how does this work? How do you guys know what it is that you do with your money? Everyone was telling me the same thing. They save, bank, insurance, but nobody was telling me how to grow it. And then I realized I want to turn my Instagram into a learning center. And while I learn, I'm taking people with me, which is my tagline. While I learn, I'm taking you with me.
Okay.
So in terms of how I divide or split myself, I don't think of it that way. Other than, of course, scheduling my time in terms of when I shoot what, when I do admin, I don't think of it as really splitting myself. I think of it like I'm in class, generally. Okay. So class 1 is legally speaking, where legally speaking, how it came about was I was having, again, employment really, I was having contractual issues while in employment. It was a conflict of interest matter, where one of my clients saw me advertising a competing product. But you see, I was doing strategy for them. I was not the face of their brand. But when they saw me advertising something else, they caused problems. And I remember asking my employer, you guys don't want to pay me to advertise their stuff. But when I'm paid by someone else, there's problems. So my lawyer came in, and the things he told me within 5 minutes, he explained it like a 6-year-old. I told him, people don't know what it is that you're saying. Can I put you in front of a camera and can we learn? And he took like a month or 2 to get back to me. Well, so I don't think about it as splitting myself. I think about it as learning. But if I was to give anyone a tip, if they want to do this, I like taking people with me. So I have a team. I have a very able team. You've spoken to one of them. She's a very aggressive, beautiful personal assistant. My videographer, I think I'm even tethered to him. So now he's even growing himself as a team. I'm about to get with a social media manager. So there are people who like working alone, but because I like learning and taking people with me, I have a team. That is how I'm able to manage everything I do.
Right, right. And so for like, as you were saying earlier, we are the elderly.
Yeah.
Geriatrics. We are old.
Jesus.
We are so old.
Oh,
and
God.
actually, it's funny you were saying that I'm younger than you, and I'm like, I'm older. I'm like,
I apologize to everyone who, when I was 20 and I was 30, I was like, oh no, what? Oh God, I apologize.
We are old. So there's a 20-year-old, 19-year-old who's probably, thinking of what course to take in campus.
Yeah, these boys, young boys, you have your own set.
Yes.
These young to gentlemen.
These young men.
These young gentlemen.
So here we have Ivy thriving in her 30s. Degree in journalism, minor I think in PR, concentrated on marketing, and now you're thriving. Bits and pieces of what you did, but not entirely. What would you advise a 20-year-old or even someone just straight out of campus in terms of like degree? What are some of the things they need to consider, and especially like now? I know the digital marketing space is big now. The people who are actually just going to school to study that entirely. You just said you're looking for a social media manager. I don't know what your criteria would be, but yeah. So what would you advise? Someone just trying to think which degree should I do,
which degree they should do if they want to move into digital content creation.
Yes.
Okay, so
and that like marketing space.
Yeah.
You could also touch on you just said you want to hire a social media manager. What are some things that you'd be on the lookout for? Would you look for degree, diploma, experience?
Okay.
Maybe we start there and go backwards.
Okay, so for the my social media manager, here's the thing about, I don't even know if I will look for experience for a social media manager. So let me talk about the person that I am keen to hire. So when I looked at their resume, I liked that they have gone over and above what it is that they learned in school, and they've done like Google classes and that type of thing. They've honed their skills outside of what it is that they did in school. I like that they've worked with certain companies, and I liked how they presented their resume. Honestly, for me, it was at the interview stage. Their attitude was absolutely right. So if you're looking to do social media, just anything you're looking to do, have the right attitude. Because you can always learn on the job.
Right.
But if your attitude is rotten,
right,
there's something off. So just have the right attitude for the things that you want to do. If you want to do social media management, you don't have to be on social media, but you have to be aware about trends and things happening in the digital content creation space, or the digital space, that you'll be able to add value to your customer.
Right.
So if I'm interviewing you and you don't know about Money Monday or Legally Speaking or Over 25, you're dead to me. I'm sorry. So if you don't even know what it is that I do, because I will ask you how I can improve.
Yeah.
If you don't know that, fine. And if you don't know what else I can do with my brand, because here's the thing about digital content creation and influencing. I always think it's a stepping stone to bigger things. I have a very short shelf life. You see, right now I'm hot. I've been hot for a year too. The next 10 years, if I do not keep reinventing myself, I'll go down.
Yeah.
I have to keep reinventing myself. So you also have to have foresight to think, this is where this brand is, this is where it can go. And how you do that is by telling me, Ivy, you're similar to this person, this person, this person, and this is the tangent they went on, and I think we can go in a similar tangent.
Right.
In terms of studying, even doctors right now are on social media, and they're killing it. So if you, whatever it is that you're studying and you're enjoying it, that is the niche you're in. And if you want to create content around that, document your life, document what it is that you're doing. You don't have to necessarily study marketing for you to be a successful digital content creator. No. Marketing will help you in terms of figuring out a strategy around maybe brands or growth of your brand, what platforms to go to. Because you see, for example, as a business person, which is why I talked to you about my LinkedIn page, as a business and sort of finance influencer, a place like LinkedIn is pretty good for me. A place like Twitter is pretty good for me.
Yeah.
I would not advise, let's say, you see, a doctor on Instagram. Instagram is great now, but you see, the first place they would go to is probably crazy enough right now, maybe TikTok, you see, because it's very community-led. So that's where marketing would help you. And also in terms of maybe business would help you, because I'm always trying to tell young content creators that don't look at it as necessarily a career, but look at yourself as a business.
Yeah.
And give yourself, time to grow. Like, what will you do in the next 3 years to make sure you pass 5 years, to make sure you get to 10 years as a business, not as a job, as a business.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I would say. Don't sit there and you're studying physics and you think, I can't be a digital content. You can tell us about the physics that you love and who would love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually love that now you are speaking as an employer.
Yeah.
And imagine.
I am an employer, actually.
Yes, as an employer, and some of the things that you'd be, on the lookout for in potential employees, that you're going to hire for attitude and train for skill. Because then you see, for us, we are hiring Gen Z. And we are millennials. I think we are millennials hiring Gen Z.
And how these Gen Zs are giving employers character development. You saw
I don't know if you've been given character development. Okay, my team here is
amazing. My friend, I've been given character development by these Gen Zs. God. But I love them.
I love them too. And I think it's reached a point we have to learn how to accommodate them.
Yeah.
Because you can only hire Gen Z. You're not going to hire a late bloomer.
Yeah. Just the same way late bloomers learned to accommodate us as millennials. I agree.
Yeah. So, you said that we hire for attitude and train for skill. So you as a 20-year-old, 19-year-old, you want to invest in your soft skills. How you're communicating. Are you someone with integrity? Do you say what you're going to say? Like, I can imagine someone who works for you needs to be someone who can think. Because you are a thinker.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to hire someone who you have to think on their behalf. You want someone who is, continuously learning and developing themselves.
Yeah.
And I can almost bet that if someone had all these traits and maybe they are not, they didn't have a degree or a diploma, I don't think you'd mind.
No.
As long as they have all these other things.
Not at all.
Exactly.
I do finance and I don't have a financial background.
Right.
I'm learning on the job, and I love what you've said about someone who keeps acquiring new skills, because it's something I like to say and something I tell young people. Do not be fungible, but acquire fungible skills. Meaning, do not be in a position where anyone can come and replace you, but get enough skills that not anybody can. Have I made sense?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Yes, because it's the only way to become irreplaceable.
Exactly.
Whether you are employed and
Yeah.
even as an entrepreneur, because as you're saying, today you're hot, then what is going to
What is
happen,
gonna happen tomorrow?
5 years from now if you don't continue, reinventing yourself?
Exactly.
So then also, Ivy, you've also mentioned about you are intrigued by this person's CV and LinkedIn profile. So you need to ensure the way you package yourself. You could be amazing at what you do, but then if you don't package yourself well, then no one is going to want to
I agree.
hire you. In terms of your own challenges that you've experienced so far, what have those been like, the ones that you're comfortable sharing, and how have you learned from your failures? I personally am a strong believer of anyone who is successful, there's something that they were able to rise above. There's they failed at something. When someone is failing at something, it means that they are growing. If you're not failing at anything, I don't think you're growing. So what have been some of the failings and challenges that you've had to overcome?
Oh man, that's a good question. That's a very, very good question. Okay, so one of the things that I realized early, or maybe not early enough, was doing due diligence on the brands and the clients that you're working with as well. You don't just sign a paper and assume because there's a big name or something that you can just move, because luckily for me, I didn't get to the extent of actually posting pictures or whatever, but I almost signed away my life on contracts and stuff with people that may not have been very good for me. So do your due diligence when it comes to your clients, just because of reputation risk, especially if you're in the public space. Do your research on this client. Get a lawyer to look at your contracts. Don't assume that because a contract is a one-pager, everything is fine. In the fine print, there are these words called perpetuity and global, where if you do one picture for them, they can use it for the rest of their lives globally, and you'll never make any money. So get a lawyer also to look at your contracts. That's something else I learned. Get someone to look at your books, your paper. Separate your accounts. I failed very early on in that the money that would come into my personal account was for my business, and this is why I tell guys, don't look at it as a career, it's a business. Separate your bank accounts. So I used to spend my business money and not reinvest back in the business. I have employees and stuff, but I'm unable to pay them at some point because, oh shoot, I spent money shopping here and shopping here. So also learn how to separate that. Another, I think a low moment is also detaching yourself from particular jobs that you want. So whenever I used to get rejection, like if I make a call and I want a job and I get rejected, I would really let it get to me. Nowadays I've practiced detachment very well. And other than practicing detachment is I have a standard template. So if I'm sending, if I want to work with, let's say, a bank, I will sell that proposal to 3 or 4 banks. Do it that way so that you don't think I just want to work with this bank, and then when they tell you no, you're like, so just cast that net a little bit wider. How else have I failed? No, and not a failure, but I think this is something I really try to practice, which is authenticity. Right now, the digital content creation space is very, very brutal to people who want to evolve. So your past will come back to bite you. So I have trended on like Twitter and like on Instagram and on certain bloggers' pages for a bit for having a bit of a terrible past and not being a very good person. So I just like to encourage people to stay as authentic as possible. Document your evolution as a person, and then I think you should be good. I think that's what I would say. All
right, great. So Ivy, I love that there's something that you said earlier on. You are bringing all of us into your space as far as learning. So we are learning so much about money. I mean, I personally, I think most of the things that I've learned about money, I've learned from your page.
Wow.
Legally speaking as well. and then I think those two platforms. Then there's this other thing that I saw recently that you're doing about land. Is it land? Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that you do it in a way that anyone, if I came and watched a clip, a legally speaking clip, it's broken down so easily. So even if I'm not so learned in that particular area, I can easily understand.
Nice, thank you.
So that you are doing that, I think that is that is amazing. I don't know what you'd want to give us as far as like a parting shot.
Okay. Oh, it's really time to part. Oh, I love it. No, I love it. Oh, Jesus. Okay, a parting shot. Wow. I should have really thought of that before coming here.
It could be, because I know most the guys who are going to watch this are guys, trying to get into the digital marketing space, because I think you are a guru, people in marketing, even like, someone also trying to get into, being an influencer and in the digital marketing space. What would you want them to, to hear, to know? I've actually experienced a side of you I did not.
Which side?
I don't know. You are so, what's the word? Versatile.
Wow.
I think that's the word.
Thank you. That's good. That's really good.
So what else? Parting shots.
Parting shots. If you're looking to get into this space, so one thing I learned after quitting employment, and doing, I used to think it was a hobby. It wasn't really. You can't treat it as a hobby. You have to treat it very seriously.
Yeah. And
give it the attention that it deserves.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and you have to enjoy it. Otherwise, being in front of the camera constantly and putting yourself that way, and you also don't have, your face doesn't have to be in front of the camera. But anyway, what I'm saying is basically just, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. For those who are seeking to get into the content creation space, don't be afraid of work. There's something about Gen Zs nowadays. I don't know why they're afraid of work and then they run away, or toxic work environment. Don't be afraid to work hard, because I have had the honor of interviewing very many successful people, and the one thing they say is they worked hard. So don't be afraid to work hard. Put in the work. Try and identify globally. I always try and tell people, think local, act global. Try and identify globally people who are doing what it is that you want to do and emulate them. We always know, if you want to be successful, find successful people and do exactly what successful people are doing. So do that as well. And then be bold, go for it. And then, of course, be yourself. It doesn't matter how much you invest in other things and stuff like that. If you're not investing in yourself, and if you're not being truly who it is that you are, and bringing that in front of the camera or in front of the podium or on a podcast, people will see that. So I think that's what I'll tell people coming into the space. Yeah.
All right. So guys, there you have it. Just Ivy, a value creating entity. I mean, this chick is a powerhouse. For me, I think some of the learnings from these conversations has been, like number one, I would not have guessed that you approached Samsung, and this just goes to show what you're saying about, you have to work hard.
Yeah.
Whether you're employed or whether you're starting your own business, you have to work hard and you have to go after what you want.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to be afraid of thinking.
Yeah.
I love how you love to think. And I think it's one of the things that has taken you where you are, today, because you're not afraid of doing, different things, and all these different things are just, in different capacities. And then also, like, invest in your softer skills. I keep hearing, every day, I can't apply for this job because I don't have a degree. I don't have, a master's. In 2022, you don't need all those things. Can you think? Can you solve problems? Are you creative? Because then also I think you have a creative mind, and you're not afraid of being yourself. Yeah. So we benefit from you allowing yourself to be Ivy.
Yeah.
Then we are able to get all these things. So just remember that there is someone waiting for you to become the best version of yourself. You need to, to be that for yourself, and then, and for, all of us, because the world is waiting for you to become your, authentic self. And then don't try, don't be afraid to try out different things.
Yeah.
I see you doing, you've not boxed yourself into, like this one thing. And I'm sure if another COVID hit, I don't think you'd be, like stranded, because there's so many, like different things that you're doing.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for finally coming. This was such an enlightening conversation, and I hope I'll see you again.
You shall. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.